Let's pray. Almighty God, the creator and ruler of heaven and earth, we beseech thee to inspire and guide all our actions, so that we may always walk in the path of justice, love, and charity to one another. Help us with thy grace to do only those things that will promote the unity, peace, happiness, and prosperity of Nigeria in general and Lagos State in particular. Amen. Thank you. CDS. Good morning. You are welcome to today's plenary. Can we look at the votes and proceedings? Page 237. Two, 3, 8. Two, 3, 9. Two, 40. I hereby approve the votes and proceedings of Monday, 26th October 2020. Message from the governor.
Mr. Speaker, sir, distinguished honorable member, there is no message from the governor.
Other announcements.
None, sir.
Petitions.
None, sir. None, sir.
Thank you. Matters of urgent public importance. None. Personal explanations. None. Reports. None. The majority leader, business of the day.
Mr. Speaker, distinguished colleagues, the lone item we have as business of the day for today is the consideration of constituency stakeholders meeting report, which was held simultaneously in all the 40 constituencies of the state, Mr. Speaker, just last week. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Who goes first? Who goes first? Okay. Honorable Kasumu Richard.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. First of all, give thanks to God Almighty for letting us see the constituency stakeholders that went peacefully, went on peacefully within my constituency, Ikeja constituency 2. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, the stakeholders meeting cut across so many areas. And the bane of it, however, Mr. Speaker, was that a lot of consideration or a lot of consideration was given to the rehabilitation and construction of some of our roads within our axis. Other activities that were pointed out that needs to be done includes the drainage systems and what have you, and environment as a whole. Other issues that were identified and raised were issues concerning education, the healthcare, and of course, the infrastructure within the state. So far, they were satisfied with the transportation sector as provided by the government, and of course, security issues were also raised that there's a need to improve on our security issues, though it was clearly identified that Lagos State is doing a good job in terms of security, but we need to put more efforts into it. And generally, the engagement of youths in policy-making issues regarding the state, and of course, empowerment of youths and the encouraging of small and medium business owners within the state and particularly my constituency as well. Other issues included empowerments for women and among other relatively personal issues that were seriously and strategically dealt with. Aside from that, in a nutshell, it all went well and was very successful. We thank the Right Honorable Speaker, Right Honorable Mudashiru Ajayi Abbasa, for giving us a platform to be able to discuss so that things that we come back with will be added to the budget as presented by the governor for the next year, 2021. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Kasum. Honorable Makinde.
Thank you, the Right Honorable Speaker, distinguished colleagues. We had our own constituency engagement meeting, as we had it across the state. And the essence of this, I think this will be the sixth of its kind that we are engaging our constituents about the governance. Then a lot of feedback were collated. The topmost among them is the sorrow state of the Lagos-Abeokuta Express road that passes through my local government. The express was so bad at the moment, it's so bad at the moment that not even a truck can pass through this road, this major road. They are now taking the inner roads that were just being commissioned by this present government. And at the moment, the 31 roads now, we have less than 6 roads that is in good condition in my local government today. I'm calling on the federal government and the state government to come to our aid. If the road cannot be totally reconstructed, it can be rehabilitated. Let's give it a facelift that can allow the heavy-duty truck to be passing through the road rather than taking our inner roads. Apart from this, our local government will need a fire service among their input. Between Ifako-Jaye, Consenso 1 and 2, we do not have any fire service. And recently, we had the gas explosion. And last 2 years, we have the pipeline vandalization that ignite fire too. We need a fire service station in our local government. And we had land that the state government can come and take up and put it to use for fire service. Also, in our local government too, we need, among what they submitted that I'm reading out, we need a mini stadium where our youth can recreate, can exercise, and a new talent can be discovered. So among other that we need from the state government, the NSAS that happened, our area was seriously affected. We need intervention of Lagos State government to come to the aid of the shop owners and the market women in my local government. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Honorable Makinde. Honorable Shangodara.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Surulere Constituency 2 stakeholders meeting was held on Thursday, 29th, 2020. The attendance was very encouraging as we had the party leaders, the 2 council chairmen, and all the councillors, the state ESCO, the traditional rulers, the CDC chairman and secretaries of both LCDA, and we have the representatives of the artisans, the religious bodies, and other invited guests. Our requests, as usual, Mr. Speaker, were 1, construction and rehabilitation of roads, especially Ashimowu Bakari and Babs Animashan roads. Pending canal drainage projects, security, infrastructure, environment, youth empowerment, and others. The memoranda has been submitted by the constituents and stakeholders for consideration. And on this note, Mr. Speaker, I want to sincerely thank you on behalf of my constituents for your being there for us. And I pray that the good Lord will continue to be with you. Thank you and God bless.
Thank you, Honorable Shangodara. Honorable Afini.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Yeah. The constituency stakeholders meeting held in my constituency, Lagos Island Constituency 2. The theme was post-COVID-19, the challenges and prospects. However, the discussion was it snowballed into more than just that. So, to keep it short, what their request simply it comes under the issue of security. Lagos Island is quite volatile at the moment. Education and empowerment for MSMEs. On the part of security, they are looking at what this House of Assembly is pushing for, like the need for state police and community policing, because they believe that the people that are doing these things are not, they are not strangers. They are usually not strangers. They are people that, a lot of residents know, so they believe that if we can get the residents involved in law enforcement, it will be helpful. They also spoke about the issue about street lights, that at night everywhere is dark, and when it's dark, different things can happen. Also, they spoke about confidentiality when people are giving information to security agencies, that it's usually, it discourages them from, going out to talk to security agents, police officers, and the neighborhood safety watch. So they need, more training for the security outfits and for them to keep confidentiality of the informants. Then they also spoke about, we need getting youth involved at the grassroots level, especially with the CDAs and CDCs, that most of them are, quite of age, and we need people that, that leadership is about always looking for succession, that's true leadership. So they spoke about that. Then that on the issue of education, they looked at education, that education is, the long-term solution for our security challenges. So they spoke about rehabilitation of government schools within the constituency, then provision of vocational centers, more vocational centers in the constituency, and encouraging students that are not doing too well in the conventional schools to register in the vocational centers and the technical schools. And then they spoke about the religious leaders and traditional leaders that were there spoke about introduction of Islamic religious knowledge and Christian religious studies and vocational, and civic education from the primary school level to tertiary institution level in all Lagos State schools. Then, on the issue of empowerment for the MSMEs, they spoke about, low interest rate, that they want low interest rates for the loans that they'll be able to access, and also that at least 70% of it should be channeled to people that really need it, not based on I know you, you know me, channels for it to be disbursed. So that's basically it. And lastly, they spoke about, that they were able to pour out their mind and things like that, that they're looking for more avenues to be able to do this. So they're encouraging us that we should be able to engage with them more regularly. We should hold the stakeholders meeting maybe more than once a year. That's all. So lastly, I would like to thank the Right Honorable Speaker for this initiative. It was really helpful, and that is why the people are asking for more. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Iwola.
Good afternoon, our Speaker and my distinguished honorable members. I stand here before you to let us know what happened in my constituency, Mushi Constituency 2, at the last program that we had. The program went well. We had it at Mushin Local Government Secretariat Hall. The chairman of the council, as well as other members of his executive, as well as management, were in attendance. We have the representative of the executive, and that was special advisor to Governor on Transportation. He was in attendance too. The chiefs were in attendance too. Our Oba couldn't come, but he sent his representative. Imam, the CAN representative and others were the artisan, and all professional bodies that we have in Mushin Local Government were there. The major issue that was brought to the front burner has to do with the issue of upgrading of Mushin Constituency 2 road. Last year, they requested for the upgrading, but to our surprise, up till now, the Lagos State has not heeded to the call. So they are reminding us that we should upgrade the roads. They call our attention to the fact that Mushin Constituency 2 houses many international markets. That we have Daliko International Market, where we have all the major supplies of rice in Lagos as well as Nigeria, in abundance there, that we need to upgrade the road. Equally, they call our attention to the issue of Amu Plants Market, that people from far and wide, they patronize this market. Ladipo Spare Parts Market, that's well known for spare parts, that if we have all these markets as well as commerce and industry in our domicile in our constituency, that they do not see any reason why what Lagos Island people are enjoying when you talk of roads as well as Ikeja, that we cannot have it in Mushin. More importantly, we are the largest voters that really voted for our party. So that we need to consider that. Secondly, sir, Mr. Speaker, the issue of community secondary school, Itire, community secondary school has been on for years. It's very appalling that we had a secondary school that has been completed up to 90%. Up to now, we learn is the contractor that is holding the key of the school. And when we ask, they say it's because government is owing the contractor. That's why it's not releasing the key. So they brought it into the fore, and we are using this media to appeal to the government as well as the appropriate quarters to settle the contractor so that our people will enjoy the usage of the school. Thirdly, sir, the issue of security. our people, they are yearning for strengthening of our neighborhood watch. They believe if we have internal military, our own internal security operative, that it will really go a long way. They call our attention to what happened at Mushin when policemen fell down many of the protesters as well as school club. So that if we have our neighborhood watch and we strengthen them, that they believe it will go a long way to solve our security problem. They talk about youth empowerment too, and we believe it's a common phenomenon. It's what happens to all Lagosians. So lastly, they talk about, okay, I've talked about youth empowerment. So I'm using this opportunity to express my gratitude to the Mr. Speaker, as well as the management staff of this noble assembly for the support for this good program that we had. Thanks so much, sir.
Thank you. Honorable Ogundemu.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Good afternoon, my colleagues. Well, the same stakeholder meetings in my constituency was held in the secretariat of Orile Agege LCDA, and we started with time, well attended, and a lot of issues were raised, ranges from issue of security to education, and also to road rehabilitations. And you will agree with me that the topic has even covered what we are supposed to really talk about, which has to do with the effect of COVID, which has affected this year's budget implementation. Most of the things that were brought to the table were those things that were supposed to have been done for this year, but they still returned it back to us. And that is why I feel that we have to really revisit all these things and make sure that it appears in our budget for 2021. In addition, well, the youth unemployment were key and also very important, because the popular say that the idle hand could become devil's workshop. So, and I think we need to really pay attention to that. They made a request that if it is possible to have this town hall meeting twice in a year, it will not be out of place, because it will afford us an opportunity to review, maybe mid-year, what we've been able to achieve among their requests before going to the end of the year. And that will really also help us in our oversight functions. So those are what really transpired at our old town hall meeting. We appreciate the initiative of the Right Honorable Speaker and the leadership of the House. Thank you.
Thank you. I will urge those on my right-hand side to give light to those on the left-hand side so that we don't miss anybody. Honorable Kehinde Joseph.
Thank you, the Right Honorable Speaker. The stakeholders meeting held at Igbe Demo Motima Post Hall at Idemo bus stop. Like what others have said, the same thing applicable to my constituency too. We have lots of discussions that ranges from the roads, the construction of the roads. We are able to do some presentation of where we are coming from, especially in respect of what we did last year. Some of those roads and some of the requests that the state has been magnanimous enough to touch, and some that we're still expecting. So we have been able to do that one. Then we have most of the requests has to do on roads, construction, and rehabilitation. Especially in my constituency, we have some wooden bridges, and this is Lagos. So people want that wooden bridges to be done. even though they, like last year, early this year too, they came for that place to come and do the soil test, but our people still want, they want action in respect of that wooden bridges. We have like 2 or 3 wooden bridges there, and there's a community in that place. The presence of the government are not felt at all. They call them white sand. No hospital, no police station, no hospital, nothing. They are those people there are the people managing that place by themselves. It's very close to Ijedodo and Ijegun. On the issue of education, there is a lot of challenges, most especially some of our schools there that don't have computer laboratory, they don't have economics labs, and many other things. And we discussed in respect of the some of those schools, lots of those, some of them don't even have chairs, and they have some dilapidated building in respect of that school. And luckily enough, the area commander of Area M was there on that day, and he spoke to the youths and the community in general that there must be a synergy between the police and the community. And he spoke extensively in respect of what happened during the during the NSAS protest, and we are able to try to bridge the gap between the police and the community. Then on the issue of the transportation, we have lots of challenges that has to do with the traffic logjam at Igondo Road, Ikotun, Ijegun, and somewhere near Idemu too. So we want those things. Those are some of the reports that we are going to forward to the Ministry of Transportation. Then on the issue of drainage, they mentioned that one too. They have done a lot of things on that. Then one of the greatest challenges we are having has to do with the dump site. We have 3 or 4 dump sites in my constituency. They have the one that there is one Lanre dump site, General Hospital dump site, Okofilin dump site, then Hotel Bus Stop dump site. All those dump sites, they have filled up, that passing through that site is a very big problem to us. Though we know the state is having challenges in respect of the environment, but I believe very soon they need to relocate the dump site from that side. Otherwise, as soon as people will start dumping, they have already started dumping refuse on the road already. And on the social amenities and youth empowerment, they requested for that. We have been able to do what we can do, and we still believe with that, when we continue to engage the youth, at least it's still going to bring a lot of relief to the state. Once again, I want to thank the leadership of the House for giving us that opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Ulabi.
Good afternoon, colleagues. Good afternoon, Right Honorable Speaker. With our stakeholders meeting, sir, I believe we had a very successful meeting. It went off without a hitch, and all of the community leaders lended their voice to the issues at hand in the community. Mr. Speaker, when SARS ended, unfortunately, cultism started in my community. So we had a lot of our security operatives there as well with us. They spoke to the community extensively on how we can all lend our support to the government and the federal police in terms of quelling the issues within the community. In terms of the infrastructural development, sir, I will only say this one thing, that I implore the state governments to please, please, please take our stakeholders' reports as a true representation of the yearnings of the people of our community, because as their representatives, the fact that you gave us this opportunity to run this stakeholders event, it really gave all of them a true chance to stand up and talk. People spoke for close to 45 minutes in some regard, thoroughly digesting all the issues that they had in the areas in terms of road, drainages. The details are all in the reports. I don't want to go so extensively into the reports. Just implore the state government to please, please, please take every word of the report as a true representation of our people. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Honorable Abiru. Please give him the mic.
Thank you very much, the Right Honorable Speaker, fellow colleagues. The stakeholders meeting with the theme post-COVID-19 pandemic challenges and prospects took place in my constituency at the local government secretariat. It was indeed well attended, and it was indeed another opportunity to engage the community, particularly after the recent event. It was indeed timely, and it was also, and people actually came to listen to us. Part of what I noticed was that firstly, negotiations have started behaving as if COVID-19 has completely left us. And we engaged ourselves and explained to them the importance, why we still need to adhere strictly to the COVID-19 protocols. Again, we also had the opportunity of engaging our youth and our non-indigens amongst several other people, and they also came out and spoke at length. Part of what was discussed was firstly, they saw the program. It was indeed the first time some people were attending, and I think the awareness, of the constituents are actually growing. And then part of what they requested was that we should hold this town hall meeting more frequently. Apart from that, we also realized that the men of Nigerian police, though attended scantily, we didn't have any security challenge, but obviously it was clear that they feel highly demoralized by what happened. In my constituency, we also lost a police post in the course of the protest, and there was also another attempt to burn down Bariga police station. And they felt so bad to the extent that they felt no one was bothered about their welfare any longer. And I want to particularly thank the DPO of Bariga Police Station, CSP Kalat, for the maturity with which he handled the protesters that came to his station. There was an attempt, and it was matured throughout the period the challenge lasted. Again, in the whole of Shomolu Bariga, there is no vocational training center. And it was a request coming from all sectors of the community, both the women and the youth, that they would so much appreciate if government could actually build a vocational stroke skill acquisition center in Bariga so as to engage the youth and also provide an opportunity for the women to learn different skills. Also, we had people come up to request for legislation to regulate social media activities, as they believe that most of what happened, that there was misinformation out there. In all, it was a successful outing, and I also want to thank the Right Honorable Speaker for the opportunity once again to have the town hall meeting. Thank you very much, sir.
Honorable Akonde.
Thank you, the Right Honorable Speaker. Mine is a mixed reaction. It's a mixed reaction because my people in Ojo Constituency 1, they send their good tidings to the House of Assembly, to the Right Honorable Speaker, and all the distinguished honorable members. We are very happy that these stakeholder meetings took place. But again, like I said, it's a mixed reaction because there was a query. They questioned their existence as Lagosians. And the simple truth is because of the Badagry Expressway that connected 4 local governments and 8 constituencies. Nothing has been done. The reference when the governor came to campaign and all the promises he made to them that within 6 months, 1 year, the road would be fixed. They were so aggrieved that up to now, nothing was done. Again, they question the rationale behind non-governmental presence in Ojo Constituency 1. Because there is, as I speak, no good roads that enters Ojo Constituency 1, especially the other side of Ojo, where we have Alaba International Market. No road from the beginning to the end. And in their quest, they mention that as a matter of urgency, the road from Vokes to Yanogwede should be constructed. 2, the road from Okuku to Ajangbadi should be constructed, or as a matter of urgency, serious rehabilitation or palliative should be done. They spoke about Alabarago Road. And again, they made mention about Ijagemo, Ijododo, and Ijegun Road, which supposed to have started, which they're supposed to have started the construction, but because of the little lacuna that happens in terms of the right of way with the NNPC pipeline, there is an issue, and they said they are begging government to look inward and see, peradventure, if any of these citizens' properties were affected, they should be compensated. Again, they were so sad that out of all the local government in Lagos State, it is only Ojo local government that does not have general hospitals. We don't have any, and it will take us several or few kilometers before we can be able to save any of our people that are sick, while many dies on the way. Just as we talk, they made mention, and avow my mind to the fact that there is no one single secondary school in Okoko as we speak. We don't have any secondary school in Okoko Maiko as we speak. They talked about construction and renovation of schools. And they want structural facilities like the school desk and chairs to be provided for all the students. Again, the citadel of learning, which is Lagos State University, is within my constituency. Thank God. And that shows that we are learning. And the message they sent is that they needed a public library where the students can continue with their studies after the school hours. We don't have these within the constituency. And finally, sir, they talk about youth engagement, that we should engage the youth and create space for the youth. Finally, I have submitted, we have submitted a memorandum and every other request are input in that. Thank you, sir.
Finally, thank you. Honorable Jude Idimogu, since honorable members are already submitting, maybe we should just limit this to 3 minutes.
My right honorable speaker, good afternoon, sir. My distinguished dear colleagues, I appreciate all of you. My own constituency stakeholder meeting also took place the same day at Ejibo Secretariat, that's the council. And I must confess, this one was far, far better than the previous one. The attendance was very okay. Almost all the stakeholders were there. And at a point, it was a fun, especially the women were enjoying themselves. However, there are issues that came up. The former commissioner of this state, former commissioner of information, who was present, brought out some germane questions, which, like I told him, this house has been on that. And what he was saying is that, why is it that the house cannot liaise with the federal government that our 37 LCDA should be converted to local governments? That was the point he mentioned. When compared with Kano, Jigawa, and other states, why is Lagos, despite the fact that Lagos State is also having the same umbrella with the national level in terms of party platform? That was the question. However, the issue of rural rehabilitation came up, a legal road in particular that lead to Bokuno is in a dire need of the state local government. The state government, local government is doing their best, but the presence of the state on these areas is still lacking. There are also issues which is common, I always say it's common. Education in terms of the public schools, especially the secondary schools there. Infrastructures they need like benches, desks, they are really in a bad state. Some of them, the roofs are leaking, which the local government chairman is doing his best to ensure that the needful is done. The youth, in particular, are demanding for more interest, especially youth empowerment, which we all agree that we do cause something good will happen. However, the issue of police station was asked from my people, especially Jibu, LCDA, is asking for additional police station. They are also asking for additional, okay, they don't have a general hospital. The general hospital we have is at Isolo, LCDA. They are asking for a general hospital, which I promised them I'll bring it to the floor of the house, and I believe they will give them consideration. Sir, before now, I have made a request in this house, especially for pedestrian bridge at Total bus stop along my 2 Apapa Expressway that lead to Ladipo Market. That expressway, that most people from my constituency, they cross the major road. And I was assured then, even the last government, that this pedestrian bridge is part of what they have included in the previous budget. Even that while Airport International Road was going on, that they are going to do it alongside. Today, airport roads have been fully constructed, yet no pedestrian bridge. Sir, this is key because there is a lot of lives lost every day, most of the time, when my constituents are crossing over to Munshi 2. It is, I know most of us know about this route. I think we can give it a consideration, the budget of 2021 that is coming. But fair enough, they also demanded for frequent interaction. I must tell you, for me, the stakeholder meeting came at the right time. Right time in the sense that with all the troubles we're facing in the state and Nigeria, it gives us opportunity for them to speak to us and we speak to them, at least to douse the tension of what is going on. So I want to thank you and appreciate you, Mr. Speaker, and my colleagues, for the opportunity. And if possible, if this stakeholders meeting can be held, even if it's twice in a year, I think all of us will appreciate it. God bless you, sir.
God bless you, Honorable Desmond Elliott.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Good afternoon, honorable colleagues. Mr. Speaker, on behalf of the good people of Surulere, I'd like to appreciate you for, and the leadership of this House, for yet another time of engagement with our constituents at the stakeholders meeting. Mr. Speaker, the House, the constituents were quite unhappy over the fact that most of the points they brought out last year concerning their roads, their canals were not handled or dealt with, and they wondered if our meeting was not just mere practice. We assured them that this time around we'll make sure that some of the, if not all of their requests for last year was taken into consideration. And that's, for instance, the roads on Nathan Street, Shifao Street, Hastrop, Inyu Road, canals and drainages. It was more of a question and answer session because coming out of the COVID-19 period, they were concerned about how the government of the day was going to help with rehabilitating and rejigging the economy. The little we know, we were able to explain to them. They were also concerned, especially the youth at this point in time, because we gave ample time to the youth to come and speak. And they wanted to know how the government was going to help in rehabilitating and empowering them. Because from what they understand, government had plans for SMEs and to also put some funds into tourism. So they wanted to know how that would trickle down to the grassroots. So as a point of advice, I'd like to say that more and better explanation should be given within the month or towards the year on how government is going to affect the lives of the youth in Lagos State and in Surulere. The high point of the meeting was when the area commander was called upon to speak about the security of the local government. owing to the fact that it became almost like an epicenter when the NSAS protest was going on. And since then, we've been having bouts of or incidences of unrest, especially in the EU/Tejo/Yaba axis of Surulere. And lives were lost. So the area commander was asked on how he intended to bring peace back to Surulere. So an agreement was done, and by and large, sir, it was a very fruitful one. Everyone was excited, and I would like to toe the line of Honorable Jude to say that we would like to have more of this kind of engagements with our constituents, so that by the time it gets to the last part of the year, we would have something more robust to present to the executive. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Honorable Sonny Okonlawon, Ghanaian.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable colleagues, good afternoon. Thursday, 29th October 2020, being the day of our stakeholders' town hall meeting, was a very convivial one. It was really engaging, interfacing, and interactive. It was an opportunity for us to cement unity in our local government. I'd like to report that the 2 GSC members in our ward, in our local government, in our constituency, attended the stakeholders meeting, talking about Baba Bush and Nomo Basho Sonya. So that is to speak about the unity in our constituency. Mr. Speaker, our case is a case of a mixed bag reaction. In a way, our people are happy. They hailed and applauded project delivery. And on the other leg, they did not shy in, reeling out the challenges bedeviling us in our constituency. Mr. Speaker, the giant strides in the realm of project delivery was applauded. Some measured achievements were recorded in the area of road projects. In Ojota, there is a road project going on beside the local government council, which will be busting into the Lagos-Ibadan Express Road to decongest traffic from Ojota-Ogudu route. It's a laudable one that people hailed. In Mende, there's a bridge ongoing which connects Arojobe Estate with Mende. That bridge is to be delivered by January, hopefully. In Ifako, so many projects are ongoing. Shosonya Street, Brown Street, Okun Street, Yetunde Brown Street, Sholui, Ganiyat Daudu 2 is going to connect with the second Oworo access road into the third mainland bridge. So work are ongoing. Lokoshafa is like a construction site. But I must say that, on the other hand, we are bedeviled with a lot of issues. In Oworo Shoki, aside Olojojo Street and second access road of Oworo Shoki, all other roads are bad. They are in bad shape. So we're asking that the government comes to our aid. So unmotorable, so impassable, and people are not happy about that. The youth complained about unemployment of our graduates and all that, and we have to look into that very well. The fire service, we do not have a single fire service in my constituency. And in case of inferno, in case of fire, to extinguish it becomes a challenge. We're seriously looking forward to a fire service in our constituency, Koshofel Constituency 1. The issue of state police was reinforced while talking about the insecurity the insecurity situation that we are facing in some part of my local government. Aside all of that, people were happy. It was a convivial environment. It's an opportunity for us to interface and to engage the people. And they are seeking for more. You know, people recommended that we should be hosting this constituency tower meeting at least twice in a year. On this note, I thank you very much, sir.
Thank you. Honorable Fatai.
Good afternoon, Right Honorable Speaker, distinguished honorable members. The stakeholders meetings in my constituency was a big success. We had many people in attendance compared with the last one. However, the residents of my constituency, Ibejuleki 1, expressed their grievances concerning the poor infrastructure development in my constituency. Right Honorable Speaker, I have about 80 communities in my constituency. We have only one with access road. Remaining 79 did not have any access road. They also complain about lack of adequate teachers in the riverine areas. They are calling on the government to deploy more teachers to the riverine areas of my constituency. And the major problem we are facing at Lekki-Ekpe Express Road is as a result of lack of access route, alternative routes. They are calling for construction of alternative routes, starting from Ibrahimadisoya down to Eleko in Ibejuleki. It goes across Etiosa 1 and Ibejuleki 1 and 2. On behalf of the good people in my constituency, I appeal to government to come to our aid, as the infrastructure is causing discomfort for the residents within these assets. I also call on the state government to give us a fire service. The only one that is serving us is at Ekpe, and God forbid, if you have any fire accident before they can move there, things might have got out of hand. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Honorable Moji Miranda.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Good afternoon, honorable colleagues. Well, the stakeholders meeting, it went well. The turnout was actually impressive. And part of the things that my constituents raised and complained about is the traffic, as usual, in Apapa. Pleading for government to come to our aid because it's actually really getting out of hand. Secondly, just like people have also made requests here, we also do not have a fire station, even as we have tank farms surrounding us. We don't mind even if it's a fire truck. It won't be a bad idea. And other things that have been said that was requested for is also in the report. I also want to use this opportunity to thank the good people of Apapa for coming out en masse to attend the program. I say a big thank you to them. Likewise, the secretariat for coming, not minding the traffic in Apapa, for coming to work in Apapa. I also appreciate you. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Noye, madams.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Our town hall meeting held on the 29th of October 2020, it was a success. We have in attendance the representative of my Kabiesis, Kabiesi Legushi, Kabiesi Oniru, Kabiesi Lejigba, Kabiesi Ojomu. We have Prince Oluyole Olusi in attendance, Commissioner for Home Affairs, representative of Obanikoro, GD Obanikoro, MHR, Union, CDC, CDA, CAN, Council of League of Imams. We are also in attendance. Mr. Speaker, Their feedback is all about mixed reactions. Firstly, they are happy on one side, on the other side, they are not happy. First and foremost, they want to appreciate the government for the access road within Victoria Island. It was commendable. And also, the construction of drainage going on in Abraham Adesanya is also commendable. Mr. Speaker, sir, but on the other side, my people are not happy at all. Based on the fact that the traffic within Ado Road, from Aja to Ado Road, we were supposed to spend only 15 minutes. They spend nothing less than 6 hours just to come out from that Ado or Baduri down to Aja. Or when they are going back home in the night again, they spend nothing less than 4 hours to 6 hours. And they requested me that they want me to come for the spot assessment. And yesterday, Sunday, I have to park my car in Aja. I have to take down from Aja down to Ado and down to Langbada to see on the spot assessment what are the causes of this problem. And one is, we saw a lot of potholes on the road. And when I look at the potholes, these are potholes that Public Works, they have told us that they have done. And I don't know why Public Works, they will construct, or maybe they will rehabilitate road today in 3 months, and will still go back to the same spot again. We need to look into that area. There are some trucks that will just park on that road. Just park on the road without doing anything. Even yesterday, we saw some trucks washing their car on that road. They park on that road, and they are still washing their car. These are the issues that we are facing on that road. My people are not happy with that traffic on that road. Secondly, the traffic from that Abraham Adesanya down to Ilaje in Aja. It's just those trucks that are dredging within that Ilaje area. Because they want to go and pick up their sand, they are parking on that express road. They are waiting for themselves turn by turn. So, in as much as they are parking on that road, they are causing a lot of traffic. My people from Abraham Adesanya down to Ilaje, they spend nothing less than 4 hours just to get across to that. And so in that line, my people are not happy. And I want to say again, what they are saying is, we should concentrate on our interland roads. It is not a must that all of us must pass express road. Like now, in this Adoipo that we are talking about, we have Salu Obodo Road, which has been in our budget since last year. Our former governor, Governor Akim Ambode, said it openly here that he's going to construct Salu Obodo Road that will link out at Olokonla in Alasia. It was in last year's budget, and it was in this year's budget. Nothing has been done. Another thing again is, there's a road again linking from Bulagas down to Mobi Road in the settlement. Another one again linking from Ogomo down to Sombotedu. If we could do all these interland roads, I think there will be ease of traffic. Honorable Fatah Mojid also talk about the alternative route, which is Coastal Road. It starts from Victoria Island in Iru. It links down to Eleko in Dangote. If we could do all this road, I think we will have ease of traffic within areas. And my people also talk about the inclusion of traditional rulers in our government. And also people of Jakoni Estate, they want redevelopment. They don't want to leave that axis. They want government to come and rebuild their estates. Also people of Ikota Estate, and they also want stadium in my area. We don't have anything like stadium in my area. And also we want general hospital. We don't have general hospital at all in Etiosa. Lastly, they said they want this stakeholder meeting to be 2 times in a year. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you. Honorable Saka.
Good afternoon, Mr. Speaker and my colleagues. Well, the stakeholder was held successfully in my constituency precisely at OMA's All Center in Igbogbo. And in attendance, all the leaders, the CDC, the market women, all the council, the 3 councils, the 3 SCDA in my local government and my constituency were there. And all the stakeholders that are supposed to partake, everybody were there. And they also has the same question and some reaction to the question that have been asked previously. One they asked about the road and rehabilitation. Precisely, there have been 3 major government impact in my constituency. That is the Rice Mill, the Jede Road, and Igbogbo, Tunumbu, Ahmed Bola Tinubu Road. And Ahmed Bola Tinubu Road was commenced precisely 2-3 years ago. And as of today, there's nothing partially there. They just regrading and resurface. And even the major things that the secondary canal that's supposed to link the primary canal has been blocked. So any little rain, you will see a lot of property being thrown from the windows and other areas. So they want them to come and look into it. And they have not yet compensated them. Since 3 years ago, they demolished a lot of properties. They have moved to the, my own constituency is a constituency that expands on daily basis. And based on this, even in term of road and some roads within the constituencies, they are so bad to the extent that if you go to Oreta, Ofin, Bayek Road, Igbe, what they call this road too, Ijede Road, Imotas, they even one at Itamaga to Itoke Road, where you're supposed to spend 7 minutes, you add expenses hours. And for God's sake, what they need is what my brother have just said, Honorable Deputy Majority Leaders. Even if it is passion, let them come and do it. They will do the passion today, tomorrow, the next 2-3 or 2-3 months, it's bad. They need to come and do something tangible there. So in terms of public school education precisely, they need a lot of heritage fence at Ijede, and because of the security issues and some schools within my constituency, and most of the structure there is no way to be found. Because the question there is that some roof is leaking, no furnitures, no other things, and some said they have. And some said we should come and see it by ourselves. And in terms of public toilet, no single public toilet. And they also made mention of most of the building that's nearly dilapidated. They want them to come and do it. And even some. Okay? Some drainages is really blocked, and they want them to come and evacuate it. And the issue of security is, you know what is going on in the town, but we thank God within my constituency, everything is peaceful, and they want infrastructures in terms of providing them transformers and other things like that. And they want a mini stadium to be upgraded. It's already embedded in the 2018 budget and 2019, and as of today, nothing was done. Precisely the one at Igbogo and the one at Ipakon in Ijede. The renovation of the Creation Center for the youth seriously hammered on this, and they want them to come and do something on that. And the fire service, we have 3 SCDA, and no single one has a fire service. And in an environment where a lot of development is going on, we need this type of infrastructures. And the health, they want the health centers in the Monta to be upgraded to the general hospitals, and the one at Igbogo, they want them to be equipped. And the one at Ijede, they want it to be equipped. The same thing applicable to education. The issue of education, the core subject, that is English, maths, physics, chemistry, biology, computer science, and IRK and CRK and Yoruba. They said these are the teachers that is not available, and they want it because they sat for the same exam. They want them to come and do something to them. And the issue of the youth empowerment, they want vocational center so that they can engage themselves. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And on behalf of the constituents too, they really appreciate the Right Honorable Speaker for this initiative, and they want it to be continued. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Bunkelu.
Mr. Speaker, distinguished colleagues, good afternoon. Good afternoon. The stakeholders meeting held on 29th November in my constituency was a successful one, a peaceful one. It was held in a local government LCDA in Eko. In attendance was the 2 chairmen of my LCDA, the party leaders, the League of Alphas, the CAN, our royal fathers from different communities. And to my surprise is most of the things that are being agitated upon in our last town hall meeting, such as renovation of schools, construction of roads, donation of transformers. The government has made some of it before the last one that we did. The schools that are being renovated in my constituency are one, Odomola Secondary School, the Okremagba High School, the road in Owu Agboa is under construction, and 2 transformers donated in Agboa, one in Adebayo, Ogunlari Street, the other one in Olisa Street, and I believe in the next few months, most of what they need that they've submitted to the secretariat, I believe they will still have more to be done from the government. And I would like to appreciate the secretariat for their job well done. They really tried. They came early. They are the one that did most of the things in making the program go successfully. And they are very coordinated. Maybe it's because we are together last year. We behave like family. And my prayer now is the government should try and as well very in time to try and renovate the road in Mojoda, which I believe the governor already said it yesterday that they're going to start it next month. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Lumiwa Jimo.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Honorable colleagues, good afternoon. I have a comprehensive report of the outcome of the town hall with me, which I will submit to the appropriate quarter. But inter alia, there are so many issues that generated in the town hall meeting. The town hall serves as an opportunity for us to also engage, to have an interface with our people that we are representing. And it has also been the burning issue that I've been pushing before this Honorable House and any other quarters.
Speak to the mic.
Okay, thank you. The cardinal issues that was raised were the abandoned World Bank project under the supervision of LMGDP. There are about 16 abandoned World Bank projects in my constituency. The one that appealed to the sensibility of the people most is the roads that connected virtually the entire Apapa Gomo together. It is called Obale Fadaini Roads. People are not happy that since 2008, it has always been abandoned. But severally, it has been appropriated for eventually, when it comes for reordering, unfortunately, it will be part of the road that will be reordered. I've also personally appealed to the governor on this, and I hope with this town hall, for the people to see it as one cardinal roads that they need now. I think it will be important for the subsequent appropriation bill that the road should be considered, and it should not be reordered for this time, at least for the last time. The other issue that were raised are issue that is our general issues. I know it's a problem generally in the country, the issue of unemployment. If 42 by Bureau of Statistics, 42 million Nigerians that are unemployed, that should be a crisis for everybody. So my own community is not an exception. And there are even categories of employment. Some are underemployed and some are unemployable. So it is important for us as a representative of the people to also consider some of this in our thinking. Those who are underemployed, those who are unemployable, and those who are not employed at all. So these are the general issues. But the detail, as I've said earlier, the details of the report is here. And I also thank just the way my brother has thanked the secretariat. They are very helpful. They came at the right time. In fact, I also met all of them at their duty post. So I thank the initiative that this house have initiated about the town hall process. And I also support the opinion of others that we should increase it more than once in a year. Though it was not mentioned in my own town, but I see sensibility in that.
Thank you, Honorable Tijani. Emir.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Honorable colleagues, good afternoon. Mr. Speaker, we had a successful deliberation during my constituency stakeholders meeting. Some of their requests are this. One, roads. Mr. Speaker, as I'm speaking with you, there is no single road in Ojo local government. All the old roads are turned to death trap. Mr. Speaker, I think we need the intervention of the state government on this road so that our people will have a good road to their various businesses and works. Two, youth empowerment and unemployment. This is one of the major challenges within our society. Mr. Speaker, our youth need to be engaged so that they can also live a better life as a good citizen of this country. Three, women empowerment. This is also very important because our women, they have the responsibility to contribute at home. It is very important we empower our women. Four, upgrading the College of Education in my constituency, that is, Adeniran Ogusoya College of Education to University of Education. This will enable our youth to have a sound education, and also it will relieve Lagos State University of their pressure during the admission. Mr. Speaker, the Obailekupa has donated land for secondary school, for construction of secondary school, because some of their people always cross water before they can have their secondary school education. I think this community needs to be considered. Mr. Speaker, lastly, I want to appreciate the leadership of this House, Mr. Speaker and others, for this good initiative, and also the Secretariat for a well job done during the town hall meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Mohammed.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Fellow colleagues, good afternoon. We equally held the town hall meeting on the 29th of October in Ikeja at the Radisson GRA on Isaac John. The essence of the meeting was to feel the pulse of the people. And it was expected that it will be a bittersweet experience, more so because most people have just been recovering from the COVID-19 pandemic. Overall, in attendance, I would say I had about 90% attendance of the people who were invited. I had the chairman of the local government there. My leader, Dr. Finney, ably represented by the chairman of the local government as well. I had both LGA chairmen there, CDC, CAN members. Equally, I had members of the Nigerian Bar Association, the Nigerian Union of Teachers, Royal Fathers, and every other stakeholder who was invited there. What most of the members have said is not any more different from mine, but I would make it pretty short. With respect to infrastructure, there was a lot of complaints from GRA, which is the government residential area. The prestige that GRA had before no longer has it, either by virtue of the fact that it's become extremely commercial as opposed to be a residential area, where the drainage, the infrastructure, the roads are not befitting anymore to the constituency. Most of the roads had been mentioned as part of the roads for reconstruction, but yet, as a matter of fact, someone had mentioned that even one of the roads that a top official stays is still in a very bad shape. I told them that I would take note of it, not only because someone stays there, but because it's extremely important for us to keep the image and also to get accessibility to the roads that are there. Secondly, they had clamored for job centers, and this had once been an initiative I had tried to bring up. They feel that the constituents need to have access to job centers where they can go in there to seek as to whether they can get any employment opportunities, where it's going to be a medium where the employers meet the employees or potential employees. They could put down their database, and whenever there seems to be any job opportunities, they should be able to go there. And also, the job centers would also serve as a form of hope for the people. Right now, all we need and all the constituents need is a sense of hope. Waking up someday and going to a job center and realizing that there just might be an opportunity for me to be employed, even if it's not a full contractual job, but even if it's a part-time job. Olushrosun dump site happens to be within my constituency as well too, which was a major issue. We would remember about 2 years thereabouts, there was a fire outbreak in Olushrosun, and they had stopped the dumping of refuse there. Surprisingly, they have resumed activities there. Not only is it because of the gas that has been released there that became a very dangerous area, but more so now, there's been a lot of complaints about the water that is there. The water is no longer potable, and they have a lot of children growing up there, adults there, drinking non-potable water, which is beginning to affect their health. Equally, there were issues of meter distribution as well too, which I believe was it was a big part of the budget last year. But of course, none of these things were done. I'm very mindful of the fact that most of the budget could not be accessed because of the COVID-19 pandemic, which has lasted this long. Also within my area as well too, we had some schools which were damaged during the protest. They were hoping that this would come, the governor will come to their rescue to do fix most of the places. In all, the meeting went pretty well. I was able to diffuse any form of tension. It's very pertinent to know that the issue of poverty is still existing within the constituency, and I'm sure this applies to everyone. I want to use this opportunity to thank Mr. Speaker for allowing us to engage and feel the pulse of the constituents, and hopefully we could be doing this monthly. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Rotimi Olowo.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. My colleague, good afternoon. Mr. Speaker, let me start by appreciating the leadership of this House for the town hall meeting. It was apt, very timely, and it met the aspiration of our people. In addition to that, let me use this medium as well to thank the governor of Lagos State and Lagos State government for the good job they are doing, not only in my constituency, but in Lagos as well, as a whole. Mindful of the fact that in 2020, we had major setback caused by COVID-19. Hence, the budget was reviewed. There's a need for us to let people know this so that it should not look as if our government is not doing anything. Mr. Speaker, away from there, my constituents are very happy with the government for the development attained so far. But just like Oliver Twist, they will still want more. Mr. Speaker, I tried to put it in perspective. Fadeyi pedestrian bridge serves about 4 constituencies: Mushin 2, Shomolu, Lagos Mainland, and Yaba. And the children from Mushin always come to Fadeyi, especially those primary school children, and we have lost many lives in the course of crossing the road. And the last government promised to get it done, but today they've not done it. So there's a need to prioritize it so that vehicles will stop killing our children. Away from there, Mr. Speaker, the only general hospital we have in Shomolu was pulled down some months ago, and there is urgent need for it to be reconstructed. The Commissioner for Health has taken this up, but we have land limitation. But I want them to still prioritize that. There are many roads we are still asking for in Shomolu, like Shikpe-Olu, Fagbe-Yuro, Mafowoku, for ease of internal maneuverability so that we take off traffic from the major road. Mr. Speaker, the Light Up Lagos has done a great job, but there's still need for us to have some street lights activated, especially the major roads like Ogutolu, Shikpeolu, Adro, Shakin, and the like, because in the evening it becomes a black spot for all those bad boys. Mr. Speaker, the silting of System 2, although lately the Minister of the Environment have done a great job, but we want them to put it on autopilot, maybe on a quarterly basis. That has to be cleaned up so that during rainy season there will be no flooding. But let me commend them, they are doing well, but we want them to put it on autopilot. Our youths are requesting for ICT hub, just like the one they have in Ikeja, that if they have that in Shomolu, many of them will be engaged and they will earn legal wages and salaries. Reconstruction of 2 police stations raised down. Today, those are the only police stations we have in Shomolu. Now that the 2 have gone, I think the security is compromised. During reconstruction, we want the state to quickly give it priority so that we can have security back in place. Dito Alade Market. Many of those affected by the burning down of Alade Market are our mothers. They are daily income earners, and today it's becoming more difficult for them to live. So we want government to prioritize the rebuilding of Alade Market so that our mothers can quickly earn a living. Mr. Speaker, I haven't said this. They requested that we have to fast forward our town hall meeting to between June and July, so that we would have collated and give to the executive before their budget consideration, because this timing, it will not afford the executive to be able to have bulk of their request in the budget. Mr. Speaker, I know the needs are growing. Lagos being the economic barometer of Nigeria, and with the population, people will still be demanding for more. But we want the executive to please, in the spirit of MTEF, medium-term explanation framework, then we have medium-term budget framework, which span for 3 years. It's a cycle of 3 years, between 2021 to 2023, that if all these needs and aspirations of our people are not met in the 2021 budget, they should be part of 2022 and 2023 to make the full MTF as we know that that's what they are resorting to. Finally, sir, we admonish the clerk to quickly collate and send all our requirements to the executive for execution before budget consideration. Thank you once again. Our constituents are happy with you and the leadership of the House. God bless you.
Thank you, Honorable Temi Tokwe Adewale.
Mr. Speaker, distinguished member of the Lagos State House of Assembly, my name is Honorable Temi Tokwe Adewale, and I represent the great people of Ipakodai, Constituency 1. Firstly, my appreciation goes to the Right Honorable Speaker and the entire leadership of the House of Assembly, extended to the Secretariat and my workforce, for we had one of the most successful stakeholders engagement in Lagos. Mr. Speaker, everything requested from my constituency has been written down, typed, and submitted. But for the fear of not speaking on the floor of the House, so as not to get into trouble in the House, and at the same time on social media, Mr. Speaker, kindly permit me to read their request as my people have sent me. My people sent me to come and read the request on the floor of the House. Mr. Speaker, in attendance was all the stakeholders requested to come.
Honorable Temi Tokwe, you know that is not allowed. You are going to just...
It is... I'm not reading.
Present, just present.
Yes, I have
Pretend as if you are reading.
Okay.
Reading is not allowed.
Okay, I'm presenting. Mr. Speaker...
As if you are reading, don't read.
I'm not reading, sir. Mr. Speaker, my people said... My people have requested that the government should please help complete the mini stadium we have in our local government. It has been abandoned since the last administration, and they are requesting for the mini stadium to be completed. Also, they have requested that the Araromi market should please be demolished and reconstructed because it harbors miscreants and hoodlums. Where they sleep at the market overnight, they have their baths, and they pass other things there. So they want the market also demolished and reconstructed. They have complained about the railway, where we have shanties built, and we have people, miscreants and hoodlums living on the railway, and they've committed different atrocities. So I've requested to the governor, because the aftermath of the EndSARS protest was that we had a communal clash where lives were lost and properties were destroyed. And this happened because we had people living on the railway and they had exchange of violence. Also, they have requested that our drainages from Guduba to Abiolani Jemo and at the same time to Ajumon should be desilted and to be cleared. Also, they requested for a fire station because we have land that has been donated to the government, but yet the fire stations have not been built. The land is at Ibari, and we are hoping the state government will look into it and also give us a fire station that will serve both the local government in our Lagos, in our Ifakojai. Also, they complain about boundary demarcations because our local government shares border with Ogun State, and we've seen the daily influx of people coming in from Ogun State and to reside within the community, and there's a need for us to know where the boundary ends, and they have also requested for that. Possible relocation of abattoir or profit sharing. The abattoir has harbored a lot of our brothers from the north, and they've caused more of waste in the community, and they are asking if it's possible for them to be relocated. They also spoke about the renovations of public schools. We have about 16 public schools, and they need renovations as well as donations of chairs and tables and desks and chalkboards and blackboards. Also, the primary healthcare, we have 6 in the local government. Only 2 are functional out of 7 wards, and the primary healthcare is supposed to be the first point of call for every health need in the local government, so as not to overwhelm the general hospital. Also, they've asked for provision of street lights where it will help illuminate the environment, and those who hide under the dark to perpetrate evil will be seen and then they'll be arrested. Also, with the KBC of Ogundimu was good enough to us. He gave us 4 acres of land, and we are asking the state government to come and take the land and also help us build a fantastic medium housing estate there where we can have recreation centers and at the same time create job opportunities for our youth. And I hope at this point my people will realize that I have spoken on their behalf, and I would not be held responsible. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. At least you can trust your brain henceforth. Honorable Akinsoya.
Right, Honorable Speaker. My honorable colleagues here. First of all, I would like to commend the leadership of this House for their initiative, and also thank Mr. Speaker. This is the 6th one. We have in attendance the Olu of Mushin and the regent of Odiolowo. We have all the 6 ballet present. We also have the CDA, CDC, and we have the youth, the national also, the national union. So my people requested for, firstly, we don't have, majority of our road is not good. They requested for at least urgent rehabilitation of Momoni Street, Ajibore Street, Ogumokun, because that Ajibore can lead to Agege Motor Road. So, and Kayode Street, where we have the toll gate, and Agege Motor Road from Anekulakbo here down to Mushin bus stop. The road is very, very bad, sir. So apart from that, we also need a mini stadium there. we don't have any general hospital. Two, in my constituency, there's no general hospital there as at now. So we need one. So apart from that, sir, Mr. Speaker, please, we have a school. What do you call this school? Adeleye Primary School, sir. We want it to be converted to a secondary school. At the end here, because we have Ojuwoye, Odiolowo. At the end here, Ojuwoye here, we have nothing like secondary school. So now our children are crossing to the other side, Ilukpeju, for secondary school. And we have the building already. There's a block of building that we can use for that purpose for secondary school. So please, Mr. Speaker, I want you to please let us make use of this evidence, this school. At least we can convert it to secondary school because we have none at that end. Also, they talk, we need this Elewedu police station, please, to be rebuilt. With the Elewedu police station serve at the end of railway line there. Because if anything happens, they can call on them. The place has been burnt, and we don't have another station there except Olosun police station. Please, we should do something on that. On that note, I believe we've packed and we've submitted what we need, the memorandum of understanding, to the House, and what we need. So I would like to use this opportunity to thank the leadership of the House again once and the Secretariat. Thank you.
Honorable Layode. Thank you, Honorable Akinsanya.
Well, thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. Let me also join my colleagues to thank the leadership of this House. Mr. Speaker, particularly also I will want to thank the governor of the state. Why that? Because I can see on that day most of the executive in the cabinet were even sent around to attend the stakeholders meeting because one of the executive members beside me were trying to send the photo, sending message to others that our owner have been commencing. But I thank the governor for that. Mr. Speaker, let me quickly go through what my people from my constituency, Badagry constituency 1, their requests and what they have been agitating for. On that day, the youth representatives were fully attended. Also, the National Association of Badagry Students also were there. Mr. Speaker, the youth and the entire people of Badagry constituency 1 were sending me to this House, to the Lagos State government, that we should ensure that most of the projects going on in Badagry, particularly Badagry constituency 1, should be quickly given attention to. That we are looking at a kind of an abandoned project where I try to call on them and convince them that no, not abandoned project, but at least we should be giving urgent attention to all these ongoing projects. Like we have all the tourism projects, the housing scheme project that is there for over years that are looking like abandoned, where they are sending me to the Lagos State government that we should quickly give urgent attention to. Mr. Speaker, the issue of education, my colleague has said a lot on it, on the primary schools, secondary schools, particularly on my constituency, people, the students and the pupils in the school, they are more than 80-40 in a classroom. And the question people are asking us, the question the students or the youth there were asking us, are we following the template on the educational system of our state? Mr. Speaker, in fact, that one is a big challenge to us, particularly in this house. I think the chairman of the Committee on Education were on a tour a few months ago, before the COVID, I think. I also joined that team in my constituency, that the committee also can see a lot of things that is happening to our educational system, particularly the classrooms, and even some schools that were not fenced, that are not even good for learning and processing for all these our students. Mr. Speaker, we need to do something on it. Not everything that we call on it is part of our own oversight function, because I've been in this house for years, and I see a lot of money that we are appropriating for the Ministry of Education. So we need to do our proper oversight function on our education system, because by now the Lagos State government should have been behind where they are asking us classroom, desk and something like that for a mega city, Mr. Speaker. I think that one is within us. Mr. Speaker, also, the people of my constituency also call on the Lagos State government that we need to do more on our youth engagement. Particularly on that day, the youth also agitating for that not only a year town hall meeting that we should be doing. I think they're also making it mandatory to us. This house, we can come up with a law or a motion that directing the local government also. They are not to stop them for also engaging the youth in the local government. I think we don't have anything like that. Even we are asking the councillor in your constituency or in your local government and what is happening in your local government, they don't even know. So we need also to call our local government, not everything that they will be passing to us in the state. Also, the local government also can be engaging all these youth, and where it needed also we can join them, plus the one that we are doing now. Mr. Speaker, I think the youth have said that, and on that day particularly, Mr. Speaker, I even encourage them, go ahead. Let us start from our hand here. Let us do it within ourselves. All the council chairmen, we have a 3 local government within my Badagry as a whole. Then the representative, elected officer, and appointees also, we can be coming together and be having the stakeholders meeting with the youth. Mr. Speaker and my fellow members, actually, we also called, the youth also come up with the calling on the Commissioner of Police and to pass through him to the IG. We need to call our police to order. Mr. Speaker, in my constituency, even from Agbara down to Badagry, we will be recording about 27, 37 police checkpoints, which is uncalled for. That how would they be on the road like that? And when they are making a call to call DPO, the DPO will be telling them that they are not in the old jurisdiction, they should call on CP. When they call on CP, the CP will not tell us it's above. I think that one is not a thing that you will be hearing for us as a country. The youth are very, very angry on that we have been so gentle in Badagry that not Kinshebi Tojo. I'm sorry, Mr. Speaker, Owe Yoruba. So I think they are also calling on them that they should check each other to know the DPO, to know the CP, to know the IG who are sending them on this road. Mr. Speaker, the most thing that is very, very annoying, that the youth are calling, and they are even sending me that I should tell you, Mr. Speaker, please use your own power. If I'm telling you that let us call our own man, a former governor of our state, a minister, former governor, Baba Tunde Raji Fashola, even at least we deserve, at least you can come out and tell the people of Badagry. You can see from Ojo, he is the minister. Let us know the state of that our road. What is happening? When the youth are coming out to agitating that you must fix Badagry road, nobody calling on the minister, he will not even answer to us. Calling on the director of the FGA or director of FEMA here, they don't even come out, they don't even show any. Let us know the state. What is happening? Is it the contractor? When we are calling on, they say, just hearing a rumor, the contractor have been giving money because of the COVID. They went through, they travel back. They will be, when are they coming? Even when the contractor were not around, I think it's good for our home minister to direct the FEMA that they can come out and do a palliative measure. From Agbara to Badagry, Mr. Speaker, if you are coming to come and say hello or greet me now, you spend about 2 hours from Agbara to Badagry. Not spending that hours, you must buy a paracetamol or Panadol to take before you eat at home in my house. Or I want to welcome you. So, Mr. Speaker, it's annoying. It's not encouraging.